Why, hello there. I hope this video finds you well. A nice Taylor here, bringing you a summary of a knife that I have done a full review on. The full review will be linked in the description, as always. The knife, in this case, is the EMP EDC Relative. And, yeah, this, simply put, is kind of what I wanted the Nimble to be from the beginning. I mean, it's definitely shaped a little different. I wouldn't mind some alternate blade shapes. In fact, arguably the latest Nimble variant they've done is kind of a mix between this and the Nimble, and kind of hits like that perfect intersection and variant of this. But the original Nimble has a bit of a wide gap between the forward choil and the handle, and it just was never really that comfortable in my hand. I sold mine. I didn't really use it a whole lot, so it was in perfect condition, but I sold it because it just wasn't doing exactly what I wanted. Where this one just feels like a glove. This one's fantastic, even despite this large pocket clip. I mean, you know it's there, but it's so comfortable in hand. So, just a quick little look at this thing, as this is the summary. Full review, as I said, linked down in the description. 3 3/8 blade length, 7 7/8 overall, just under 8 inches, honestly. Got a clip point, sort of almost buoy style, kind of. No, that's such a large field, but clip point, dual ground, compound ground blade, flat up front, hollow back here. It is very, very thin. I mean, very thin. This thing is crazy thin. These are made for EMP EDC by Bestech, I think. Most of the EMP EDC stuff is made by Bestech. I mean, of course, the USA made OTF and a few other things probably aren't, but a lot of them are. You got the long sort of fuller with this pill-shaped aperture that is kind of the standard for EMP EDC. I think they do it on almost everything. Got a decently thick blade, but not too overly thick. You got jimping that goes all the way out. Very comfortable. Very comfortable. It definitely grips. I mean, it's not the perfect jimping. It's honestly maybe a little bit sharp. Because it has to be because it's not the perfect sort of like wire jimping, but it definitely works and it definitely gives you traction. And unless you're really pushing into it, I don't think it's going to be a problem for you. The plunge grind could be a little bit better. That's the one area where this thing does suffer a little bit. The plunge grind kind of stops right there. Could be a little bit better. The stop pin is internal and attached to the blade, so it's not going to be a problem. It runs on bearings. This particular one, I know they've come in a couple different blade steels. This is the first run, number 125, in fact. And this one's in MagnaCut. This one, while it's lost a little bit of a bite, has held a pretty darn good edge. So, Bestech also, I will say, was one of the first companies to really consistently be like hitting MagnaCut at like 62, 63, consistently. Which is pretty impressive and pretty nice. That a lot of companies seem to have an easier time heat treating this material, so no complaints there when they're using it. It's good steel. It is centered. There's no play. You've got hole for the reverse or thumb flick. Both work really well. And you've got a front flipper, even though, again, the jimping's not the greatest. And they didn't jimp the very apex here. The jimping gives you so much grab, and it's so sharp that, honestly, like, unless you go for just the top, where you're basically almost pushing over it in the first place, there's almost no way to miss this thing. It's not like guillotine drop shut, but it is a smooth shake shut. Very nice action. As traditional with most EMP EDC knives, the original variant seems to be this bronze mixed with a black. There are, of course, variants, but I think this was like the quintessential first variant of the Nimble, and that they've just sort of stuck with it as on a lot of their knives. And I like the combo. I like this. A lot of times you find, this is just an aside, but a lot of times when you get the black handles or something like that, companies are always doing black blades. I've noticed that especially now, lately. Like, you get a Wii knife, and it's got the, not all of them, but a lot of times you got this nice handle, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, DLC blade. It's like they're going for full on, you know, the Shadow tactical vibe for that particular variant. I like seeing some contrast here. I kind of hope more companies do a little bit more. In fact, now that I look around, quite a few of the knives on my very desk have the black handles with not black blades, but there are typically variants for everybody. But I do appreciate when you get this sort of. Is this a DLC or a PVD? It's probably a PVD. I don't know. On the handle, and just a nice belt satin on the blade. I wonder if this is also a hand satin. I mean, it's very little of it shows, but it is there, so I don't know. You got a backspacer, lanyard hole, big old pocket clip, I already mentioned that. You got a flat under the pocket clip, which is great detail. Saves your pocket from this texture. Which, and despite this being a giant, wide pocket clip, it actually flexes really good and has good retention. So this works surprisingly well. It does tend to sit like this far in your pocket, not this far, but it's a medium depth. It's good. You got a nice amount of milling on the inside. Pretty darn good lock bar axis, even though you can't kind of see it. It does sit proud. It's easy to access. It's very comfortable. Very, very well. Like, they did a really good job on this. Sometimes you get these bowls and they are too small. This one is big and generous and super comfortable to interface with. Honestly, for just a frame lock knife, this thing is executed in a lot of the ways that you really want to see. I mean, plunge grind aside. This is really good. Super comfortable, great ergos, pretty neutral despite kind of looking like they wouldn't be, but they are pretty neutral. Good access to the tip. This is a really good knife and really functional and sort of just checks all the boxes. I definitely recommend this one, and especially if maybe like the Nimble being typically, historically, the new ones are not, but the older Nimbles were smaller, and again, they had that big sort of flat in between their choils, so if that wasn't for you or something like that, yeah, this is one to consider and check out. It's a really good knife. It is decently priced for what it is, being an OEM-made knife. I'm not going to say it's going to, like, break down the bank for value compared to some, but it's pretty good, and it's very well made, and it's a great piece that I'm happy to have. I do want to say one thing. This isn't negative, but it's just one thing I've always noticed. They like doing some of this, like, antique bronze or, brass or something finish on the pocket clip and stuff, yet it never quite matches that hard bronze anodization on the pivot or the screws. I kind of wish they just go with polished hard anodization instead of this distressed thing. Just a personal thing and something maybe to take note of, because they don't quite match. It doesn't bother me that much. It's just sort of a third layer of contrast, really. So, I mean, it's up to you whether you like that. There are other variants, other finishes. I mean, I can definitely get a replacement clip and do something like Timascus or something. Then it wouldn't matter if it matches, right? But, yeah. Logo on the pivot. Sterile blade, I forgot to mention that. Always love seeing that with the Magna Cut down there. And a fun pivot, honestly. So, yeah, EMP EDC, definitely one to check out, definitely one to watch. They just came out with a Nimble variant that has a very similar setup to this, but it's also got a flipper tab, which is looking pretty good. I didn't get it only because, well, it doesn't look that different from the Nimble and this that I've already experienced, so I had other things on the menu. So, yeah, that ends things here for me. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!